Okay, we'll progress further, and here we're going to further look at layering different media types. And along the way, we'll look at using text across our clips. I don't mean graphics with text included. You know, something you might have made in Photoshop? I don't mean that sort of text. I mean using Premiere Pro's built-in titler to include text. You'll see what I mean in a second. Now, there will be much more on the titler later. Here, though, we're just going to have an introduction to it, as an example of using different media types when we are compositing and creating different layers. Anyway, let's look at what I've set up already. I've got this video clip that we've worked on already, and what I'm going to do with it is I'm going to blend it with the photograph, just the few first seconds of the video, and that will fade into the photograph. And the idea is to create a short advert to promote the release of a new single. Now, you might remember from the previous clip, when we have seen this video, there is quite a bit of camera shake. So what I've done is I've utilized the warp stabilizer. Remember, we've seen that in action earlier on in this course, and we can see it there in the Effect Controls tab. I've already implemented that because, as you know, it does take quite a bit of time to do. And I didn't think you'd appreciate just watching it go through the motions, as it were. So this is the stage we're at the moment. I'll just close all this down from view and move back over to the timeline. Now, if I move my CTI along the timeline, you can see much of that camera shake has been reduced. Although, when we get here, you might wonder why it goes blank or black for the last few seconds, especially as we do have some audio down here. Well, it's because I'm going to fade that photograph in I mentioned a moment ago at the end, and I've used keyframes for the fade. At the moment I've got its visibility set to off, I'll just switch it back on, and then as I move the CTI along, you can see the guitar image emerge. Later in this tutorial, I'll add some text over it. This is the audio at the end. You again. Okay, and that's where I want to add some text. That image, by the way, is one I bought from a company called iStock, so I can't let you have it as part of your resources. Here it is in the images folder. What I suggest is if you are following along and you are building this project as well, use any similar photograph or image that you have. Okay, right, let's see what we have got built so far. We have 2 video tracks and 1 audio track. On our 2 video tracks, we have 1 video and we have that 1 photograph. So let's watch it all as it is at the moment without any text. Here we go.
Tuesday morning, gone 4 a.m. Watching the stars go out without you again.
Okay, right, well, I now want to start adding text over the top, and we do it by implementing the titler. I've got a folder called text, so with it selected, and so that the titles that I create automatically go into it, I'll head up to the menu and choose title, and then I'll drop down to new title and fly out and choose default still. I know there are a couple of options there. We will look at these different options when we look at the titler in more detail later. So for the moment, just go for that default still option, and then once you select it, this new title dialog opens up. Apart from renaming it number 1, I'll leave all the defaults as they are and OK it. As a result, this titler panel opens up, and this will allow us to create text that will float on top of our video clips, well, the video clips directly below it. Now, as you can see, there is an awful lot involved with this titler panel. I'm not going to go into too much detail here, seeing as we are going to cover it later. So for now, I'll just use the text tool and type in Tuesday morning. That's automatically made the text white. Now I don't want it to be white, so I'll click here to open the color palette and change to black. Alternatively, you could use the color picker itself to get some color from the video. So I'll do that. I'll click on the sun coming through the clouds there, that sort of golden color. Okay, now I'm just going to close down the title palette. Now you might have thought that that would bring the text in automatically. Well, the text isn't automatically brought in. We have to go back to our text folder, and there we can choose that one that we renamed as number 1. So from here, as usual, it acts like just another clip, so I'll drag and drop it onto our video track, above the video track and the other video track holding the photograph. So I'll drag it to the empty area above video track 2. And there we go, video track 3 is now automatically created. Now I'm placing this text at the start of the clip, and the default setting means our duration doesn't last long enough, so I'll just extend its length to here. Remember what I said, even though it's text, it acts in pretty much the same way as any other asset that we use, video, photograph, etc. Okay, now to see it very clearly, I'll just toggle the visibility off for the video on video track 1. Okay, so now we only see the text against the black background. I'll hit play.
Tuesday morning.
Okay, now in actual fact I only want it to last for exactly that first phrase. So I'm going to cut its length by dragging to the left, and I'll bring the video back into view and we'll play it once more.
Tuesday morning.
Okay, so that's all there is to it really. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this screen recording just to save you some time, and I'll add in some more text to reflect the other lyrics, and also I'll add in further text at the end over the photograph. Okay, this is what it all looks like.
Tuesday morning, gone 4 a.m. Watching the stars go out without you again.
So that's a quick run through then, simply showing you we can bring in different media types and spread them across different video tracks when we are compositing.